have this puzzle right here. This, the lid she just lifted up, as a matter of fact. Fade by 4 points. It actually looks like this. Fade by 4 points. It's the puzzle that's currently on my table right now that I'm working on. Very beautiful puzzle created by 4 Points Puzzles. They received the picture from Sarah Anderson, and so I'm working on that. Hopefully be done with that by sometime mid next week. And yeah, so you ready to jump into this? So we watched. I watched the Olivia Jade Red Table Talk. She had her table talk to debut last week, and for those who don't know, Olivia Jade is one of several college students who got into college because their parents basically paid a college recruiter to get them into college, and he did so by doctoring up college admission resumes, applications, and paid off a whole lot of people to get kids who, for all intents and purposes, didn't deserve to get into those schools anyway. Lori Laughlin and Massimo Giannulli, I think Giannulli is his last name, were two of several parents who got time for their involvement in the scandal. And Olivia Jade, her sister Bella, and several other students were not necessarily charged with anything, but they were definitely embarrassed. And some of them decided to not go back to school, Olivia Jade being one of them. And so this is back, I think, 2019 where this came out, and now Olivia Jade has come out with the Red Table Talk over with what's her name, Jada Pinkett Smith, Willow Smith, and the grandmother whose name I can't recall right now. I'll try to find it in a little bit because I want to give her her props too. But their Red Table Talk, and Olivia Jade had a lot to say on the Red Table Talk. It was really jam-packed for a 30-minute session. And so the conversation prompted me to have a conversation with my wife and several others over the past week. My wife has since watched the Red Table Talk, and so I wanted to open up our podcast basically with talking about the conversation that they had, and you know, what the impact that it should have on all of us, and some of the things that we've learned since the Red Table Talk came out. And so is there any particular place you want to start? Okay, so the grandmother's name is Adrienne Banfield Norris. They call her Gam on the show. And so, is there any particular place you want to start with the conversation?
You know, you probably need to explain what it was about.
Okay.
People probably have
okay.
questions.
Yeah. So, so if you haven't seen the show yet, or if you haven't seen that episode yet, you definitely should go on Facebook. It's on Facebook Watch, and watch that episode of the Red Table Talk. It's very eye-opening for a lot of reasons. Olivia Jade gets on the show. Before she even gets on the show, Adrienne Banfield, she basically says, you know, I didn't want her to be on the show because she felt like that basically this is a white girl trying to use a black platform to try to do her redemption story, and she didn't feel like it was necessary for her to use that the red table to, you know, to build her redemption story. It was very dead set against it. Meanwhile, Jada and Willow were more on the side of allowing her to tell her story, so that way she can get it out there and face whatever backlash, given the fact that Olivia Jade actually volunteered to come on the show. She called them to come on the show. Olivia Jade then comes on the show, and she explains the fact that that she for all intents and purposes, didn't know the extent to which this scandal had happened, had taken place, and that but she also recognized that she is complicit in the situation. Like, she doesn't absolve herself of the responsibility, doesn't absolve herself of blame. She takes responsibility for the fact that this has happened, and particularly because she knows that there are a lot of people who don't get the opportunities to go to the colleges of their choice, the ones that they really want to go to. And she got to go, not necessarily because she worked to get there, although she did work hard in school, but she didn't earn her way into that school. Her parents paid for that. But she also recognizes that in the culture in which she was brought up, that was the norm, that it really didn't matter that that she didn't earn her way in. That was just how the whole culture of her living, her people, her society, her culture is what she was brought up in. That their parents, if that's where they want to go, if that's the college they want to go to, their parents are going to do whatever they got to do to get them in that school. And so they just thought it was normal. So when the scandal broke out and everything was happening, her initial reaction, and she was honest about it, was, what's wrong? I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's wrong with this. But she later understood, after the embarrassment and the fallout, that that she was in a place of privilege, that she was able to have these things and not have to think about them the way that others may have to think about and work hard and grind to get themselves in position to be able to go to school, go to the school that they want to go to. Furthermore, she said that she recognizes the privilege that she has as a white woman, recognizes the privilege that she has as what did she say? As a kid that grew up into wealth, that she recognizes that there are advantages that she already had that no one else would have. And then, oh, that scared me. Gam then, said that, she felt once again that, she was using this platform as an opportunity to, to tell her redemption story, and, was feeling the way that she was feeling about her telling her story because, she was going to be okay regardless. That she was going to be able to get on her feet because her parents are still loaded, parents still have money, she's going to be fine, she's going to be okay, whereas other people who have been in similar situations, they don't get such luxuries. And that, especially with the time frame that we're living in 2020 and the pandemic and all those things, that is really hard for her in particular. And she said the sentiment of a lot of people to hear what she had to say. And Olivia Jade took those blows very strong. Like, she didn't capitulate or try to explain herself or try to, throw up a pity party saying, oh, woe is me. She said she understands, her role, understands her involvement, not just in the scandal itself, but also in the larger societal issues that are brought on by the mere fact that she is in a privileged position to even be able to say, as she did in one of her videos, that I just want to go to school to party. I don't really care about going to school, and how, ignorant she was of that. At the end of the conversation, I think it brought on a lot of, it brought about a lot of thoughtful statements and a lot of thoughtful input on everybody's part, that, there comes a level of recognition that has to come upon the parts of everyone involved, that everyone should know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how it impacts other people, whether they're implicit or explicit in the wrongdoings that they're doing, and understanding where those wrongdoings are coming from. And so I've said a lot. So we're going to try to break all these things down in terms of, what Olivia Jade did or didn't do, what her parents did or didn't do, privilege, race, entitlement, the whole 9 yards. And again, just have a conversation and see where we end up. Go ahead.
I guess, I've already told you this. I still don't understand a little bit why she kept apologizing for what she did. What did she do? Was it the fact that she was apologizing for being ignorant of the acts that were taking place? Or was she apologizing for the acts that took place? Because she didn't do that. And so I think that when we see, I guess it's, when we see someone doing something wrong, but we can't get to them to point fingers, we go to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like that's what was kind of done in that situation.
And
the parents,
explain that.
Have we heard from the parents? No. They aren't able to come out and talk. So people can't talk to them, or they can't respond to people. So instead, they go to the daughter, who can say something. And so since the parents are not there for the attack to be on them, it's on her. Yeah.
I think that so that question has two questions in it. I'm gonna try to answer them both. One, she didn't do anything, and I know that there is some speculation that she didn't do anything. You know, I think that okay, so she didn't do anything. I'm gonna answer this question first. She didn't do anything. She wanted to go to school. She wanted to go to college. Just like any other kid wants to go to college, wants to go to college. And so her parents did what they could to get her in school. And listening to her, tell the story, her dad wanted her and her sister to go to a school close to home. And so he did what he could to get them in a school that was close to home. University of Southern California, USC, typical D1 school. Is not the greatest school on planet Earth. It's not a school that, got, what? Oh, it's not a school that has like a billion, it's not like a Harvard. No, I'm good. It's not like a Harvard or anything like that. It's a D1 school. But it's close to home. So he did what he did to get her into that school, and that was pretty much the gist of it. Like there was no it's not like she went to her dad, according to her, and said, I want to go to this school, and if I don't go to this school, then I'm going to be angry with you, and life is going to suck for you, and I'm going to make your life miserable, so you got to make me go to this school. Like, I don't think, based on what her story was, I don't think that's how she carried herself, nor her sister carried themselves in that way to say, you gonna make me go to this school. So in that, given her narrative and the fact that she said that she worked her tail off, she took the SATs, she did the extracurricular activities, she filled out the application, she did the essays, and she did what she was supposed to do. And when she got the acceptance letter said, you're in. Boom, that's it. So I don't think she did anything wrong. Now, going back to what you said about, they can't get to the mom or the dad, so they're going to come at her. I think that what happens when, this is what happens when you have a platform. Because Olivia Jade is not just someone who is just this random girl. Olivia Jade has a platform with millions of followers. She's making videos. She has endorsement deals from different companies, different, makeup companies, different fashion companies. And so she has all these different endorsements and all these different things that are going on that make her a face, a celebrity of her own right. She's not just Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky's daughter. She is her own person, stands on her own 2 feet. And so when they see this happen and they're looking at the videos that she's made, they automatically assume that she was involved and implicit in it because she appears to be a spoiled rich girl. And coupled with the fact that we have all the culture wars going on and the race wars that are going on right now, you label that spoiled rich white girl. And that just makes it even worse for her. Because like you said, they can't attack mom and they can't attack dad as much, so they're going to go after her. Or they attack mom and they attack dad, they got sentenced but nothing happened to her, so we're going to vilify her too, which is why she lost endorsement deals. She lost, a lot of her followers. Everyone who was her fans all of a sudden became her enemies. How dare you? Da, 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 da. And so from becoming the media darling to becoming a pariah, basically overnight. So yes, I don't think she necessarily did anything wrong per se, but it's the fact that she had a platform that made her implicit wrongfulness, even though she didn't do anything wrong, it made it appear as if she had more to do with the scandal than she may have.
So why is it that, and I already know the answer to this question, we as a people, instead of, automatically assuming you suck because you did this, don't try to get to the bottom of what really happened and start to push this person aside because of something you don't even know the whole story of, because you weren't there. You're not heard. You don't know. I think it's why do we do that? Because we even do that with politics.
Yes. I think it's because the media, for one, loves a good story.
Drama.
Yes. Whatever it's gonna take in order to sell whatever it is they gotta sell. The media, and I'm not trying to paint the media with a broad brush. So when I use the word media, I'm using it loosely. I don't want anybody coming after me saying, "Oh, you're against the media." That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, by and large, people in general love drama. They love a good story. And a lot of people love to drum up a story without getting all the facts. And so what they do is they get what little bit of information that they can, and they put that up there, but then they add their own opinions and their perspectives onto the facts that they have, even if they're limited. And so in the case of Olivia Jade, people automatically assume that she's this spoiled rich white girl who has no conscience, who has no care in the world whatsoever, doesn't care about people, doesn't care about anything but herself. And it's evident because of this one video she made where she said, I just want to go to party. I don't care about getting an education. Which, by and large,
it hurt some people.
I mean, it did hurt some people, but I know plenty of people that I went to college with. That was exactly what they went to school for. And mind you, they probably still made good grades, but they didn't care. Like, they weren't caring about making good grades. They would come into class with a straight up hangover and still ace the class. Like that, it's almost the norm for very successful, highly motivated people. They have an insane ability, some of them, to party just as hard as they get their education. So it happens. So it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that she said, I don't really care about school like that. Because at the end of the day, whether she got her education or didn't get her education, one, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. But two, because who wants to go to class? Who wants to go to class? Not me. I want to go to school. If there was a way for me to get an honorary doctorate today, please sign me up, because I don't want to go to school. Nobody, unless you're just a straight up nerd who loves education all day, every day, nobody wants to sit in class. No, if there is an easy path to success, please give me the path of least resistance. So no, it doesn't surprise me at all that she said those things. But the fact that she said them and put them on tape, and like she said, edited it, cut it, put it on YouTube, the whole 9 yards. It made people feel as though she's this, again, spoiled rich white girl who.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true.
I mean, but again, according to her, what did she say? I worked my tail off. Like, she wasn't just trying to, she wasn't just like, whatever. Like, she may have had a level
what
of...
is a spoiled, rich, white...
According to how people vilified her, it's somebody who's like, I'm just going to get what I want, how I want it, when I want it, and, you know, and if I don't get it, then the whole world going to burn and fall apart.
So, it's spoiled...
I want it.
Is spoiled a character trait, or is spoiled something somebody does to somebody?
That's a very good question, because again, because for me, it doesn't appear, based on what she said, that she was living in a place of complete ignorance, in that while she was living in this bubble that she said she lived in, she wasn't living in a bubble as if she was mean-spirited. And I think that's where people are are mad at her for, without really knowing the facts of who she is or what she does. Because they automatically assume she's just this person who does not care about people at all. She only cares about herself. She only cares about the little people in her circle, and that's it. Now, mind you, it's not like she was going out and trying to do anything for anybody, you know, outside of, you know, giving giveaways to her followers and things like that, you know, for her to build her brand. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's she had to grow into where she is now. Plus, she was 16, 17 years old. I mean, come on. She's 21 now. She's got a lot of growing to do. She's got a lot of living to do. I don't know a whole lot of people that would be in her position who would actually care about the situation, care about issues outside of what's going on in her world, because her bubble, she's protected. It's like we were saying before about what we see now with social justice reform. Unless you're turning on the TV and you're actively engaged in what you see, like, you're going to turn the TV if you see something you don't like. You don't have to get engaged with any type of issues going on in the world, even when there was nothing else for anybody to do but watch TV. You could easily binge watch Netflix, easily binge watch Hulu to keep yourself from having to watch TV. You know, so, you know, you have to actively care.
Unless you get unlimited.
Right, that part, okay? Hey, listen, AT&T, if you're listening, hook us up, man. Come on now. Come on. I know we live in the country, but, you know, we like unlimited internet too. But, anyway, so I don't think that, you know, she was I don't think, I want to say this right. I don't think that she's evil-spirited, evil-minded. But I do think that people have taken what she had, the body of work that she's produced, and they formed an opinion about her. And when this scandal came up, it became the proof. See, I told you she's a spoiled rich white girl. Look, she didn't even get into college right. Her daddy paid for college. I bet she was all up in his face saying, I want to go to USC, and if you don't let me go to USC, So, you know, again, I think that it's a matter of people wanting so badly to find, you know, fault with people at any given notion to try to fulfill, you know, whatever narrative that it is that they're trying to pull off. Now, mind you, some people do fit it, but get the facts. Like we said, don't form an opinion based upon what you want it to be. See, get all the information, get all the facts first, then form an opinion. But in the world we live in, you have an opinion, and then get the facts that you need in order to make your opinion work. And I think they might have did that with her. Okay. What? What?
What?
What?
What?
You looking at me mean, and you looking at your phone like.
I did?
Something on the phone? What you found?
Nothing. I'm still stuck on spoiled.
Talk. Well, let's talk. What's up?
Because I feel like spoiled. Our girls, I feel like sometimes are spoiled.
Heck yeah!
And so that's why you know me.
Y'all, get the phone.
What?
This chick done looked up the definition. I don't know if you can see it because it's bright. You lucky. I ain't getting up here. No, looked up the definition of spoiled on the phone.
It just confuses me because I feel like when you're spoiled, from the definition.
Oh my God.
There are two parts of being spoiled.
There's two parts of being spoiled. Okay.
So it's the character thing.
Character thing.
And it's not just on the person who's spoiled. It's on the person who's spoiling.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I feel like she's spoiled, but I don't feel like her character.
Right. So you think that the spoiledness,
she's spoiled because she can get whatever she wants.
Right.
So
it's not about her being spoiled. It's about her parents spoiling her.
Yes.
Okay.
It's spoiled another word for privileged?
Probably so. So, but the issue then becomes, because when we start getting into that, the way that people want to bring up privilege has more to do with race than it does with financial worth. So the term that people want to use for financial worth is entitlement. I can get whatever I want, so I expect to have what I want.
That's being spoiled. You get what you want.
Yeah. But the word spoiled, like you said, tends to be coupled with an attitude of, I can have whatever I want, and if I don't get it, then I'm going to be angry because I ought to have it. Because why can't I have it? I ought to be able to have it.
Well, if that's the case, then the whole world is spoiled, right?
I mean, sure. And people get angry about it all the time. Yeah, I get it. So I think go ahead.
We judge so harshly sometimes. And I think we talked about this, and it's because you just said it, and it's because it's out in the open. I feel like the people who are judging, if we took a look into your computer or into your house or into your phone, I bet you would not judge anymore.
True. So, and let me take it one step further than that. I think a lot of it has to do with jealousy. Because think about it. You got people. I would love to be able to pay somebody to be able to let my kids go to wherever school they wanted to go. I would love that. Let me just pay a college recruiter to get them to wherever school they want to go.
That.
No, we're not going. I'm not saying we ain't gonna do that. They're gonna earn their way. Trust me. They're gonna earn their way. Trust me. But for real though, what are we always saying? We say all the time, justice doesn't go to those who deserve it. It goes to the highest bidder. We say that all the time. Whoever can afford it will get it. In the culture that we live in today, well, in any culture, it's always been that way. That, it doesn't matter how just a nation tries to be. If you pay the right whatever, money, trinkets, toys, whatever, you can get a person to do just about anything they want to do if they don't care, if they don't have a conscience, and if they're trying to, gain something. And so, it's very difficult in the world that we live in today to find anybody who doesn't want what's best for their children. It's just that some people not only want what's best for their children, but they can afford to give their children the best. And so when a person sees a story like this, where a person was, paid to get into a college, whereas I had to work 8, 9, hours a night, study day in and day out in order to try to even crack the top 200 to get into a school, and then I gotta pay all these loans. But then you didn't even have to do any of that. You just had your dad say, "This is the school I want to go to. Give whatever we gotta give you. Make it so. Make it so."
And so I guess I'm still kind of on the fence of whether or not to, agree with Gam's reaction to her.
Okay. Talk about that.
I get where she's coming from, and I get why she's angry. I get why she is upset.
Talk about her reaction first.
So her reaction was one that I don't want her to be here. I don't want her to be here, but for what? She's going to be fine. She wants to come on here to get her story out, to
Sell her redemption story.
Yeah,
is how she's put it.
herself. And so that, I think that's where a problem for me comes in also, because I believe now that she is a Christian.
Okay.
I thought that was one thing they kind of, mentioned, because I've seen some of the table talks before, and I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I thought that's something I heard, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
But I guess I don't know. Once again, we are doing the same thing that we say we're tired of people doing to us.
And Jada said the same thing.
Yes.
Keep going.
And I think that if you really think about it, her reaction to me is kind of similar to the girl's reaction in the beginning of all this happening. Why? It's an action of, because she said in the beginning, she said, I don't see what the problem is. There's nothing wrong. And Gam's reaction is, why does she have to be here? And so I think that, I wrote this down, I think that her even being there and coming there was a bigger change on her part than actually Gam. Because she actually showed some type of
contrition, remorse,
change. But then for us to still, and I'm saying us, is talking about race, for us to still be on the page of you're still this, or I still think this because of this. And part of it's probably because you don't have the whole story. And so then when she finally got the whole story, we still don't know if her mind changed, because from what she said it could take a year from now. So I don't think her mind changed right then. But for her to actually do what she did showed me of a bigger person than even some of the people who were on the talk show. So I guess I just still don't know how to feel about her reaction, because I feel like she has the right to feel the way she feels because of everything that's been going on. But like I said, I don't know if she's a Christian, because I feel differently. I don't feel how she feels, although I get where she's coming from. I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. And once again, a second chance for what? She didn't do nothing. I keep saying that. But I feel like, I can't stop saying that. But once I do, I feel like everybody deserves a chance to...
But a chance to do what? In this case, a chance to do what?
Clear their name. Clear her name.
Maybe that's what she was there to do. Maybe that was what she was there to do. Because, again, in the court of public opinion, not the court of law, because she didn't go to jail, she wasn't put on stand, she wasn't charged with anything, but she was still found guilty by us of being spoiled, rich, white girl. By public opinion.
That's where she's wrong.
That's where.
So basically, she's wrong for being born.
Bingo. Yes. And that goes into the heart of what I wanted to talk about tonight. And I'm glad that's exactly how you put it, because that's the issue at play. Her issue. She said this on the tape. Man, you set that up so nicely. Hands up. You did that real good. She said herself, I was born into a world where this was normal. This was normal. So why are we, as us, mad at her for being born into an existence of which she had no control over. She can't help that her mom was Aunt Becky from Full House and made a lot of money and is going to continue to make money because they keep playing the show and you're going to keep making checks as long as they playing the show on TV. Plus, her mom's got a movie career. Her dad is, I think, a fashion designer, and so he's making all buku kind of money, all day, every day. You're fine. Making all kind of buku money, he's got a career. They're well established. They're living their lives. They got investments. You name it. I mean, she was born into this. She didn't say, parents, get rich, so then I can be the rich girl. No, she was born into this culture. She was born into this world. And so, just like with her and her situation, we say this all the time about people in general, and I wish people would take this more to heart when they're dealing with people. You cannot judge a book by its cover. You gotta know where these people came from. You gotta know their context. Like, where's this person born from? What sort of circumstances were they born into? What type of lives did they have? Now, some people, you can have two people have the exact same existence and live totally different lives. Don't get me wrong. But again, context matters. This girl, 16 years old, made a tape talking about, I don't want to go to school. What 16-year-old do you know wants to go to school? To go to school. Come on now. Like I said, you got some that are busting their behinds. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if I can go to a party, yeah, I want to go to the party too. And so you have a lot of kids who, they don't care about going to school. So again, you're judging a girl who made a tape at 16 years old, 17 years old, talking about going to college. To party. What kid wouldn't do that? But again, because... Right.
I didn't stay on campus. I stayed at home.
Right. You lucked out.
Did you party?
You didn't have to pay. No, I tried to party one time. Listen, I tried to party one time, but that's not my scene. I would always leave early because it was boring as crap, and then the party would really jump off, and I miss all the fun. But I was tired, and I was ready to go to sleep. So partying was never my thing.
I thought you were a late night crawler, though.
I was a late night crawler doing work. I was in architecture school.
So you would go home and go to sleep, or go home and do work?
I'd probably go home and do work because I had a project. I know. I'm telling you how my brain worked. It was stupid. I'd be at the party and I'd be bored out of my mind and be like, okay, I'm about to pass out. I'm gonna go home. Then I get home and my brain's like, okay, what we gonna do now? So that's how my brain worked. I don't know. Anyway,
you brought your work with you.
How am I gonna bring the work to the party? That don't make no sense.
Then you would stay there.
What I'm gonna do? They gonna kick me out for doing homework. Nah, bro, we ain't doing that here.
You have to explain. Look, I gotta do.
We are getting off track. That is not what I want to talk about on this podcast. Okay, don't care about my partying life or lack thereof.
But wait, real quick, you could have brought your work and be like, wait, I gotta do my work so my brain can wake up and I can be up and party with y'all. Okay, go ahead.
They were not gonna let me stay there doing no homework, talking about it's gonna be your way to stay up, because nobody gonna be there working with me. Okay, I'm gonna be by myself in a corner, and then by 4 a.m. the party gonna be over, and I'm gonna be like, where everybody at?
But you don't hear all the noise, and you gonna be like, what is that? And then they be like, oh.
No, that actually could have worked. That might have worked. See, this is why I needed you in my life back then, mother lover. Ugh. You make me sick. All these great ideas you be having. I'm 35 and ticking, literally, all over my darn body, all these aches. Anyway, okay, thank you for those party ideas. Party ideas with Red Owl. I'm getting party advice now. No, but again, so what kid doesn't want to go to a party? So it's like, especially in 2020. So, like...
And I feel like we as adults, because it wasn't just kids, or teenagers, bashing her. It's adults.
Yes. I
feel like
talk
we
about
as
it.
adults, why not be the adult? And instead of bashing others, that's an opportunity.
Or take it one step further. Bashing a child.
Come on.
Child.
No. Wait. But because this didn't come out until when? She wasn't a child when it came out.
But she got into the school as a child. Like, come on.
Yeah, bashing what she said, yeah.
Right.
But bashing her,
No, not the video. No, I'm saying, like, why would you when they found out she was a freshman in college, right? They found out about the college issues when she was a freshman or sophomore in college or something like that. But the scandal itself happened while she was still a child. So why you getting at her? She didn't do anything. So I'm saying, why are we as adults, our grown butts selves, just like you said it in the beginning, we gotta find somebody to be mad at, especially with our bigger issues, Gam. Because I'm not really mad at you, was what she said. It's the issue, it's the system, it's the situation. So you found your bad guy. You found your bad guy, so now I'm going to take all of my issues of all the pain and all the suffering and all the problems, and I'm going to lay it all out on you. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even her that created the system in which these kids and these parents benefited from. But because she's a face, I'm going to take it all out on her. And again, she was born into this situation. She didn't work her way into this situation. She was born into this situation. And so I think that a lot of times when we think of, and I think that's why it's difficult again to try to figure out like who's to blame and why her and all these other things, because yes, she was complicit to a degree just by the mere fact of being in the situation in and of itself. But when you talk about entitlement and you talk about
But how is she complicit to it?
Again, in the court of public opinion, I'm not saying she was complicit. I'm saying in the court of public opinion she was complicit. I'm not saying that she was, but the court of public opinion is. And I'm leading into a bigger point, because in light of her and the public opinion's thought of her being complicit, look at now the responsibility she's taking upon herself to try to educate herself on privilege, educate herself on racial inequality, educate herself on entitlement, as if she has to now be a spokesperson for, or the one to raise the banner to try to dismantle all these systems. She now has to, whether she wants to or not, is going to be looked at as a person who now has to carry the mantle. And say, and do speeches and do rallies and all these other things in an attempt to try to shut down a system of inequality that's been perpetuated for generations. To try to use her platform to leverage for, underserved populations to an infinite degree. And so it's so difficult for us, to have meaningful conversations with one another about these issues, because we end up putting so much responsibility on people who, again, I'm grateful that she's taken on this responsibility. I'm grateful that she's decided that, she wants to use her platform for change, to be a difference maker. I'm grateful that she's decided to do all these great things. But at the end of the day, what is it really going to do? What is it really going to do? Because the systems are so much bigger than one person. And I know it takes one person, Colin Kaepernick, that to start the chain. To get the ball rolling. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form knocking anyone for being that change, but because of the fact that people, and particularly black folk, are so angry at white people for being entitled and being in a seat of privilege and being, spoiled rich white girls, it makes it difficult for us to be able to have meaningful conversations with people who are quote-unquote woke and white, because we still hold so much anger toward them and their privilege, to where I fear sometimes that they're so tired of hearing about it that it demotivates them to even make change.
Why do you think we focus so much on spoiled rich white girls, and not focus on it all spoiled rich white people? Because they're not just spoiled, rich white girls. We got spoiled, rich black girls too. And there have been, you know, like reality TV shows of it, you know. And so, I mean, you know, having 16-year-old, no, not even having your 16-year-old party, but having your 15-year-old party or whatever, and getting a car that you won't be able to drive until a year or two later. You know, it's not just white girls. It's black. It's all of it. Because from what I'm talking about, when I watch the little reality shows of the little parties and stuff, they're Latinas, you know.
The
they're
Kardashians.
They're
the Kardashians.
Not even them. I'm talking about younger.
No, yeah.
Like even what is it? Oh my gosh. It's the show that had Rev Run's daughter. Yeah. Bow Wow on it. It had Salt and Pepper, their daughter. Was that Love It? I don't know, man. But
like no. I know what you're talking about. It was like born into hip hop or something like that. Like sons and daughters of hip hop or something like that. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
It's not just white people. I mean, it's blacks too.
No, you're right. No, you're right. And I think what happens is that in the culture, again, in the culture wars, the race wars that we're in right now, more emphasis is being placed on white in particular, because for so long we've seen, you know, we've seen as a culture, you know, whites get away with a whole lot more than what blacks have. It's not spoiled rich black people who are in the news or in the media getting away with things. You know, president, for example, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that alone. Getting away with things. You know, it seems like when it comes again to justice, you know, it seems that it's, you know, rich and white that are able to get away with heinous crimes, whereas, you know, disproportionately in the criminal justice system, blacks are, you know, incarcerated at an extreme rate for misdemeanor crimes, serving 30 years on drug charges, possession of drugs, not even with intent to distribute, just possession charges. Meaning I had some weed, you know, but I got 30 years for having a thing of weed on me for the third time, 3 strikes and you're out, that sort of thing.
So why is it that even in this situation where we see that, I guess, you know, justice was served or whatever, or done right.
You got some people who don't feel like it's enough.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Why is it that you can't find the good in what is done and saying, you know, yay, the system, you know, worked this time, you know? But instead, we're just still just
angry.
Exactly.
Bitter.
They got away with this. No, they're not. It's being done right now, you know?
They're bitter.
Just like the other people who may get away with something but then get caught later, you know?
They're bitter.
Like,
I mean,
what is...
They're bitter. They're bitter. Bitter and scorned over generations, lifetimes of atrocities and wrongs that have been done. Yeah. And so again, they found their poster child. They found their poster child. I can't get to the parents. I can't talk to the parents. I can't vilify the parents, so I can vilify her. She's here. She's accessible. I can talk to her. You know, she wasn't to talk to us. So I can give her. I can lay it all out on her. 40 some generations. I can lay it all out on her.
I just want to teach our girls, you know, don't hold grudges like that, because one, they gonna sleep at night, boo. You gonna be the one up at night mad about that and using all your energy and all your little time of the day that we have talking about that stuff, you know, wasting your time on it, you know, like this is we talked about it one time before, we talked about it now. We're not using our energy to talk about something that doesn't really affect us.
Right.
Like that. But even if it did affect us like that, What is continuing to just talk about the same
Beat
thing over
it.
and over and over again? What is that going to do for us?
Now, some people may argue as kind of a counter to that, that if we keep talking about it, eventually change will happen. At least that's the hope. But again,
there's a way.
There's a way. Yes, there's a way to go about it. Like there's a way that we shouldn't keep talking about the same thing every single time. Like our conversation should be the same thing every time. There should be a continuation.
Yeah.
We should get from problem to solution, problem to answers, and then from answers to plans to action. Like that's how the conversation ought to go. But oh my gosh, I just said this week. We are because truth is relative, so much so that it's become irrelevant now. We can't even get past the conversation. We can't even get past that because we can't even agree on what the facts are anymore. So we can't even get past that part. I'm with you. Like, I think that at some point, and I think that a lot of people behind, oh my gosh, we say this all the time. There are a lot of people who are actually doing a lot of the meaningful work that we just don't see because they don't talk about the meaningful work. We don't see what happened until after the conversations have been had and after the work's been done when they present us with something, but then we just pick that apart as if they haven't had all the conversations. It's just, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta bring politics in there for a second. It's just like how Joe Biden had a conversation with the I don't know if it's Congressional Black Caucus or the Black Media or whatever it was, but he said to them that the phrase defund the police has turned is going to end up costing Democrats seats because of the phrase itself and the underlying tones that come from that phrase. That when you have to explain what that phrase means, it turns a lot of people away just from the mere saying defund the police. And so they're having this bitter conflict right now within the Democratic Party itself about what that phrase means and how they need to and so what I'm saying is because of that phrase, we can't get to solutions. When there shouldn't even be a conversation about what defund the police means because people have already said what it means, what it implies, what it entails, all the different plans that are out there about what it means, the 8 steps to reallocating funds and all that. Like, all that's been laid out. But because people are stuck on that phrase, even the people who ought to be advocating for it, they can't get past that phrase. We can't get to the solutions. And so it's the same thing about entitlement, the same thing about white privilege, the same thing about race, the same thing about bias, the whole 9 yards. Because we can't get past that first step of having the conversation, we can't get to the solutions. We can't get to the answers. And so thanks be to God that Olivia, despite her not needing to go down this rabbit hole of understanding privilege and understanding race and understanding entitlement, that she's taking up the mantle and trying to understand it so that she can upend a lot of the issues that she's had in the past. What you see, pitter patter her feet?
No, I'm just looking at
Thank God that she's actually figuring that out for herself, but she's one of a bunch of people, and if we can't get past the conversation itself, then we're going to continue. The conversation is going to continue to cycle itself every other day, to where people then get exhausted from the conversation and they stop caring. It's the same thing that happened with Black Lives Matter. It's the same thing that's happening with defund the police right now. It's the same thing that's happened with social justice reform. It's the same thing that happened with the election. People get tired of hearing it, bombarded by it, and so they start tuning it out, and they don't care no more. And so when people don't care no more, you got to figure out a way to drum all that back up again. People tired, man. They don't care about this stuff no more. And that's unfortunate because unless we can drum up the energy to go and do what we need to do, a lot of stuff that we want to have change won't change. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of wanted to go back to Gam's comments real quick, and then we'll call it a day. Because she was saying, what did she say? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what she might. We may have already talked about it, but I'm trying to remember because I remember you had already said that she said that that she did that, you know, that she was tired of all the atrocities that have been happening to everybody, you know, especially in the black community, and then for this girl to come onto their platform and seek refuge from 3 black women, you know, it just seemed real convenient.
But you know what? I think that we miss also the fact that something happened to her too. You know? Like we've been saying, if she didn't get in by herself, it was probably only by just like a smidget, because she made it known she worked hard, you know, but something happened to her. She had to get out of school because of how she felt. And because of everything that was going on,
lost endorsements.
She had to stop doing what she was doing. And you might say, well, she's gonna be all right, but
I'm glad you
we don't know.
Yeah. That's it.
We don't know where her mind was after she got in it. Mm-hmm. You know, she said she got the call when she was on spring break or something. But I mean, we don't know how hard she worked. Because they got her in, but she had to keep herself in, right?
Yep.
They couldn't alter grades, they couldn't alter papers or nothing like that.
Right.
So it's like she had to stop that herself. We don't know what her plans, her goals were, you know, and we're so focused, and I know it's a big focus. I'm not trying to downplay anything, but we're so focused on just us. And, you know, probably rightfully so, because it is a time now where other people are focused on us too. So, you know, you want to just make it big or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we forget about others, you know? And so I'm
glad you...
And,
go ahead.
You know, I'm thinking this girl gonna need some therapy.
Probably already did.
You know?
Probably already got something.
Because we don't know, I haven't looked and I don't want to look. We don't know a lot of the things that were said to her, a lot of the things that were privately messaged to her. You know, we don't know none of that. Her parents, who she was so close with, her mom, she doesn't have them anymore. You know? We're missing all of this. She's 21? You know? We're missing all of this because we're so focused on, oh, this happened, she gonna be all right. You know, physically, financially, she may be all right, but we're forgetting that there is more to a person than just the outer appearance and what you see. Just like I always I don't know what I'm talking about, but I always think about when I'm going to work, it's not just about the academics for a child, but it's about the whole child. You know, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. You know, it's all of that. And it's not just for children, it's the whole person. We miss that. People are missing that because we're so stuck on her being a spoiled, rich, white girl.
I don't even want to follow up with that. Like, that was so... That was where my mind was trying to go, and you took it. Like, I don't even want to follow up with that. I'm gonna try not to jump on your pulpit and take over.
I just wish that people would get away from themselves. And I get it. You know, I'm not. I will say this until the cows come home. I'm not trying to downplay anything because I'm a black woman. We got 2 black girls, black male, you know, and I'm not trying to downplay anything, but I always tell Eddie, we are in a sinful world with sinful people who are going to do
Sinful
sinful things. And so when we, as people who say that we have, even if you are not a Christian, when you have good character and you say that about yourself, then I would think that you would look not past it, but look into it and look at it in a different way. And not how everybody else is looking. Because you probably had to struggle, raising your girls and all of that. But I don't know. You don't have to do that anymore. And you probably, I feel for the ones who do have to struggle more than we have, because we struggle. But there are people who struggle more, harder, or who are worse than we are. And I can't imagine. Well, we've almost been rock bottom. But
yeah, no argument there.
But I would think that a person being in that state would be able to look at that situation in a different way. Or would they not, because they are privileged? But I love how Jada, thought about how she felt about the situation, because she mentioned the fact that as parents you do things that could affect your children in a bad way. And I love how she mentioned that, because it showed that even when, Jada or Will did something bad, it wasn't like the children were complicit in it. But because they did it and they're the parents and they're known, it fell on them. Because they have a platform also.
Especially because they have a platform also. Or even when they didn't have a platform. When they were
Exactly,
just the
even
kids.
when they didn't.
Right.
It's still... So I don't know. I just wish people would, before you judge, get the facts. Get the facts. And before you judge and talk about people, if you know that person, talk to them. Or even if you see all these comments being, written, speak positive into those comments. Challenge people's minds. Challenge what they're saying. Because I feel like it's deeper than a situation. And that's probably why they're, feeling the way they're feeling and saying things that they're saying. But, do they even know?
Right.
I'm hot.
You turn the fan on. Okay. Right.
You good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to box everything you just said, because like I said, you done said everything that I was thinking. So it's like I don't really want to jump on what you're saying, and that person is like really going in on some emojis right now. But
Why?
I don't know. There's a new person just came on. I guess the one was like, look like some laughing emojis and some zip faces or something. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to package up everything you just said. I think that we all could afford just giving people the opportunity to have their experience. Now, again, I'm the same person who just put on, Facebook the other day, you need to, the truth is relative and all that, and if the truth gets so relative that it becomes irrelevant. But we also can't negate the fact that everyone has their own experience. And I alluded to this when I talked about the fact that, Olivia, she was born into her existence. And so she didn't go asking for this existence. This existence was already hers as just by virtue of being born. Nevertheless, I feel like a lot of times we don't give people the benefit of the doubt of their life experience being their life experience and thereby contributing to the actions that they've taken on prior to a situation like this that causes them to rethink their entire existence as people. I think that a lot of times we don't give people the benefit of the doubt, and as a result, we end up vilifying them without ever knowing them. Vilifying them before we've even given them a chance to really tell us who they are or to show us who they are. We just automatically assume they're bad guys, they're bad people, they're evil people. They don't deserve a chance. They don't deserve first chance, let alone a second chance or a third chance or a fourth chance or whatever. And so, I get, exactly where you're coming from when you say that, with Gam, you're not wanting to, give her a chance that, it came from a place of not knowing her. All she knew was the story. All she knew was the situation. All she knew, she's a spoiled, rich, white girl based on a perspective that she was fed from somebody else. She don't know this girl from Adam. In fact, none of us knew or know Olivia, from Adam. But Olivia was willing to put herself out there once again.
With 3 black people.
With 3 black people nonetheless. But put herself out there.
Don't set it off.
Not so that she could try to win people's approval, but so that people could just get a chance to figure out who she is. To figure out who she is as a person. No, that's not gonna happen. To give it a chance to show who she really is and to understand the situation from her point of view. She didn't, as she told them, I'm not trying to find friends. I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to care about me. I don't need us to be ace boon coons. I just need you to let me tell my story. Get it from my perspective. Get it from my angle. And so that, I think, is where we as a people are failing. Where we don't give people a chance to give us the story. And Will Smith in the last Red Table Talk said it so plain and clear, so good, and I'm still feeding on that today, that it's when you're allowing someone to tell their story, you got to sit down and realize that it is not your turn yet.
Exactly. It
is not your turn. So let that person tell their story, hear them, listen to them, hear them, give them back what you heard, and then validate the parts that you agree with. Especially when, that's more of talking about confrontation.
And acknowledge how they feel.
And acknowledge it. Yes, acknowledge them. That is their existence. That's their reality. Period. You can't change another person's perception of the facts. Again, let's agree on the facts. Let's be clear. Like, we got to agree on the facts. But you're not going to agree on the perception of the facts. Because everyone's perception and everyone's perspective is different. And so, I'm not saying that we need to give Olivia the benefit of the doubt. But what I am saying is she deserves an opportunity to be heard. And she got that through the Red Table. She got an opportunity to be heard. Got an opportunity for someone to hear her side. And now we can make our opinions, for better or worse. And hopefully,
that's just what they are,
opinions. And I pray that she is strong enough. And I think she is. I think she's got the support.
She get on there.
She get on there. You're strong enough. I think she's strong enough to handle the backlash that will come from ignorant people who are still stuck in their feelings and don't want to give people the benefit of the doubt or want to give people understanding based on their experience of said situation. I mean, and I say it all the time. We want grace and we want forgiveness and we want understanding. We want somebody to care, but we want to judge, we want to ridicule, we want to criticize and tear down people all the time. All the time. You're in pain, ain't you? Sorry. So I'm trying to wrap this up so we can wrap her knee up. But yeah, foot. But yeah, so again, you know, like you said, you put it so well. I didn't want to try to hammer it anymore. But yeah, like I think that's where it ends up for me. Because truth be told, I was torn initially when I heard it, because you know, it, like I said before, like I see all the different pieces of the puzzle, and it's hard for me to put them together in a way. It was in the beginning in a way that made sense to me, given, you know, so much that I know about people and their ability to manipulate platforms for their own intents and purposes. And at the end of the day, like we said, I don't have a heaven or hell to put her in. None of us have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. So if she's lying to us and she knew the whole time and she just got up there and she just said what she said to try to win her followers back, shame on her. She'll be found out, she'll be weighed, she will be measured, she'll be found wanting, and at the end of the day, people will vilify her all the more for getting up there and lying to folks. But if indeed she told the truth, and that was her perception of reality, and you know she is changed and has transformed, then people, give her a chance. Give her a chance. Hey, but you know what? No, I take that back. Even if you don't give her a chance, listen, Olivia, bump them.
Okay.
Do you well, because what are we always saying? If you can't see the change, if you can't see the difference, then you be the change. You be the difference. You can't see the good, be the good. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody got a heaven or hell to put you in but God. And if you and God are good, then you be good. And if G-Ma never wants to be your friend, bump her too. Because that's on her. That's not on you. You ain't have to apologize to her. You ain't got to apologize to nobody, because you didn't really do anything. But thanks be to God that this has transformed you. But don't think for one second that you owe anybody anything. If anything, the only person you owe is God, to do what you do for His glory, for His sake. And I pray that you do have a relationship with Him. But if you don't, if you're listening, you know, Jesus loves you, all that jazz. Let's talk. You got anything else? All right. Well, this is going to end our podcast on tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Please share this video with your friends, with your enemies, with your co-workers, all of them. And again, the Very Good Puzzle, Puzzling Through 2020 campaign is underway. And so share your stories of how puzzling has helped you get through 2020. I'm going to share mine sometime next week of how puzzling got me through 2020. And so share your stories using the hashtag #PuzzledThrough2020. And you might be the lucky winner of a case of 12 puzzles from the Very Good Puzzle Company. And they have some beautiful puzzles that just came out. I'm going to show you two that I received. If I can remember where I put them.
Those are it?
No, those are not it. I put them... Oh my goodness, where did I put them? Right here. I got these two beauties from them today. This one is Widespread Panic. That's a nice little snake and some blackness going on there, so it's going to make me mad. I already know.
I see some green in there.
Girls, it'll make me mad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to make me mad. And then you have this one's Faded. I love ice cream and I love colors. And so this one is going to be very fun to put together, and it's going to make me so upset when I get to the cones, because I know already the cones going to be the hardest part of that puzzle right there. But yeah, Very Good Puzzle Company. I love my folk there, VGP. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for all you do for the puzzle company. For the puzzle community. Puzzle Nation, it's been fun. It's been real. Thank y'all for listening. We're gonna keep scouring the airwaves and the news channels to see if there's anything interesting going on outside of elections to talk about. And if we find something, then you'll find us on the next episode of Puzzle with the Mad Hatter and Red Owl. Y'all take it easy. See y'all next time.